So just to finish off that question real quick, the future value here in year 4, I know that this is the punchline, that was pretty exciting if you ask me, but it asks for the actual future value, so it's going to be $6,268.78. So, what does all of this mean? Let's summarize it in a formula. So in finding the future value of a compound interest investment, we use the following formula. A equals P times 1 plus I to the power of n. Oh boy, look at all those letters. Let's define them. So A, nothing unusual. This is our future value. P is still our principal, which is the original amount that we invest. I is the interest rate per compounding period. So if they say an annual interest rate is, say, something like 4, that means that if we say compound semi-annually, which is 2 times a year, that means that it would be 4 divided by 2. If it's compounded quarterly, it would be 4 divided by 4. And n is the number of compounding periods. It's the number of times per year that the interest gets glommed onto the principal so that it can get reinvested. Now things tend to get a little bit more complicated when there are more than one compounding periods per year. So annually, that's the one that we were talking about before. Number of times per year, it compounds 1 time per year. The interest rate per compounding period is just the annual interest rate, and the number of compounding periods is simple. It's just the number of years. But what happens if it compounds semi-annually? What happens if 2 times a year they take the interest, put it onto the and reinvest it alongside the principal? Well, that means that you take your annual interest rate and you divide by 2, and that becomes your I. The number of compounding periods is the number of years times 2, because there are 2 compounding periods per year. Quarterly, you would just divide the interest rate by 4 to get your I. And to get the number of compounding periods, you take the number of years and you multiply it by 4. Monthly, similarly here, we want to divide by 12 because there are 12 in a year. And if you want to know number of compounding periods, it is you multiply the number of years by 12. Let's extend the chart just a little bit. What happens if we compounded weekly, and what happens if we compounded daily? Well, if it's weekly, that means that we have 52 compounding periods per year. Our I would be the annual interest rate divided by, you got it, 52. And the number of compounding periods would equal the annual the number of years. That's just shorthand for numbers. It's not hashtag of years, multiplied by 52. Now daily, how many compounding periods would there be in a year if we compounded daily? That would be a dream. 365. Our I would equal the annual interest rate. I'm just going to short form it. Annual interest rate. And we wanted to, oh, that's cute. air. And then we want to divide it by 365. Now the number of compounding periods, you would take the number of years and you would multiply it by 365.